Okay, so we're gonna do a assessment basically from the neck up, and I've already come into the room, washed my hands, done my hand hygiene and all that kind of stuff. And I would put gloves on. I always put gloves on for any kind of assessment because you never know what you're gonna find, even in the hair if you can't see it first. So I've introduced myself to my patient, told her what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna start. I always start with the hair and general overall shape and look of everything, making sure that there's nothing that looks odd or doesn't look as it should or is symmetrical or asymmetrical, anything like that, just in general. And then I would start by examining in the scalp, and I would feel for anything abnormal that I can just feel first. Also noting the texture of the hair, like how much it covers, is it receding, is it changing other than what I think it should be from this patient. And then after that, I'm actually going to visually inspect the scalp as much as I possibly can with this much hair and make sure I go all the way around the scalp where there is hair. And then I'm going to just move down to the eyes, is how I like to do it. And I'm going to look at the eyebrows, the eyelashes, make sure everything looks symmetrical. Is she moving her eyes equally? And then we're going to check pupillary responses. Just look straight ahead for me. I'm going to check this side is equal to that side. Each time I flash, I'm going to look one and then the other. Do the same on the opposite side. Noting the sclera. I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. Look at the sclera down here and the mucous membranes, all of that. And then I'm going to check up here for the sinus cavities, make sure there's no tenderness, no swelling. And then I'm going to look in the eyes. And I have to practice this a little bit more, but so I don't smack her on the face. Find the red dot and then look at the other points that I need to see in both eyes. And that looks fine. And then I'm going to check the cardinal fields of vision and the the extraocular movements. So looking straight ahead at this, just follow it with your eyes and not your head. Checking each of these. Everything is moving as it should. And I'm going to check, follow this in, don't move your head. Making sure that converges correctly. And then I'm going to check peripheral fields, so tell me when you can see my fingers on either side.
Thank you. Okay.
Keep your eyes straight ahead.
Okay.
Alright, and that's intact. And then I'm going to move just straight down to the nose. Can you tilt your head back a little bit? Check inside, looking at the mucous membranes, at the shape and the general way it should be. There's a little bit of inflammation. And then I just continue on down to the mouth. Open your mouth and stick your tongue out to your chin. I'm going to check inside, say ah. Looking at the uvula and tongue, making sure all of that is midline. I'm checking dentition, the soft and hard palate, the cheeks, and I'm going to look under the tongue. Noting any kind of changes in dentition and the mucous membranes and the lips and all of that. Making sure it's all the way it should look. All that looks normal. There was a little bit of, you can see her fillings and that kind of thing back in the back right. Then I would, with my gloved hands, I would feel inside around the gum lines, making sure all of that looks and feels correct, and underneath the tongue and around the teeth. Noting that she had wisdom teeth that were pulled. You can see those spots. And then I'm going to move to the ears. And I would note the shape, any kind of inconsistencies behind and in front of. Then I'm going to pull up and back on the auricle because she's an adult. I don't feel, she doesn't appear to be in any pain when I do that, so I'm going to go ahead and look inside. I'm going to note my landmarks, and I'm going to look for the membranes, and that all looks normal and clean, very clean. I would do that on both sides. And then I'm going to look for preauricular nodes, see if I can feel any of that. And I'm going to go down the jaw and feel for those. And all the way to submental. Then I'm going to go postauricular. And then in the front of the neck, feel for any of those. And I'm also going to just check post while I'm there. And since I'm doing nodes, I like to check all of them at the same time. And I'm looking in the back now. And then I'm going to come behind her and I'm going to feel for the hyoid. You swallow for me? Once I've located it, I can feel the lobes of that. Check the trachea, it looks midline. Swallow one more time for me. Everything moved straight up and down. I'm going to just move it to the side slightly. Don't feel any irregularities with that. And then noting the general shape of the shoulders and making sure that can you show your shoulders for me? They move up equally. Everything looks as it should.